unique game for me because obviously Carl played for me. Ivy's brother was a really good player for me at Akron, who was a pro. And then, you know, obviously Charles' son played. So, and then JJ obviously. So it was a weird dynamic. So the Ivy kid looks just like his brother. I felt like I was deja vu, you know. So it's a good game for us at this time of the year just to get our, you know, trip from Vegas and our Christmas out of the way and get ready for the conference. And then, you know, they played some zone, which was good for us because UMass can play some zone as well.
Was that predetermined for him to play zone?
No, we were a little nervous about it because Jimmy's been hurt the last couple of days. We didn't even know if he'd play. So if you don't shoot the ball well, but we were so big, I think that's the biggest thing is until you play somebody, you don't realize, you know, we're just so big that it's hard for them to rebound or stop us inside.
What did you see individually from anybody, maybe Duquesne? Do you think people were interested with him?
Well, obviously he's not in very good shape yet, but he's somebody you could throw the ball to, you know. So I think that will bode well for us if he can, you know, get in shape quicker. But he's really what he's done is miraculous. You know, he really isn't even supposed to be playing yet, but he's done an unbelievable job of rehabbing, and John Henderson's done a good job of getting him ready. So I'm happy for him. But you can see he gets tired quick. But he's a monster. He's a big, strong, tough dude.
Could be much ado about nothing, Keith, but this is the first lineup change that you've really had this year. You made 2 changes today. Just, is that something you could see moving forward, or is that something that where practice is really going to tell the story with that?
Well, so we went a long way the other direction. We felt like Fusini hadn't played that well the last couple of games, you know, and he had played really well early, so we felt like we should try to reward him and jumpstart him a little bit, you know, because we did the same thing with Andre at that point. You know, early in the year, Fusini played a little bit better than Andre, and Andre still started. So that was the reason behind that, and, you know, arguably Dixon's played better than Chavi to this point. You know, like, again, I'm always going to call it as I see it. So I just felt like it was a good time to, you know, swap it up. It's good for your team too. Like guys have to be willing to make some sacrifices for the good of the group. So our biggest thing is just the collectiveness and the team bonding because we have so many guys that are capable of playing. So if you don't continually work on that, you can have issues, and we've had some.
Going back to, you know, before the jump against Cleveland State, where you thought the team would be by the time the A-10 season started and where it is now, where do you think you've made the most progress, and what are the areas that you'd like to shore up between now and UMass?
We're not consistent enough. We make too many mistakes defensively. You know, we probably make too many mistakes with the ball. You can sit up here, Carl. Come on. This will be a first. So this is a first where the 2 coaches do the press conference at once. Maybe it could be like a John Calipari and John Chaney.
Seems a little bit more civil.
The only problem is Carl's much bigger than me. He'd kick my ass.
I'm not going to grab him. I'm not going to grab him. I did that already against Penn State, and that didn't go well for me.
No, but to answer your question, like we're making too many defensive mistakes. We try hard, but we're making too many. And then, you know, we're a little bit erratic, you know, sharing the ball at times. So I'm not happy where we are, but I think if we can get a low block presence, I think that will solve some of our problems. You know, it'll even things out a little bit so we're not relying so much on just driving it and shooting it, you know. So that's where Duquesne, Dixon, Andre Saversov, Fusini, you know, if we can do a little bit more of that, I think we'll be better.
Where do you think you've made the most progress? Or where are you feeling the best going into the conference?
I mean, we've shown we can play with everybody on our schedule. That's probably the best thing. I don't think we played our best basketball by by any means. I think we're still way away from where we can play. Now, at some point you have to say, well, is that the best you can do, or am I wrong? Maybe we are playing the best, but I don't think we have. We're just too inconsistent. But again, we got a new team, and we have 8 seniors and grad students, so that presents issues that we have to continually work on.
Carl, good to see you again. Just what has this meant for you? This is your second time back in Pittsburgh this season, but obviously there's no place like home for you, I'm sure.
No, I was, when I got a chance to get Point Park on the schedule, I was really happy about it because give me a chance to come back here. Spent 5 years here, loved every minute of it. Started to become my second home, and being with Coach D and you know, Coach Wygan and you know, Ricky and Andy Allison, it's just family, you know. So getting a chance to come back, seeing those guys. Ari Stern's back. I got to spend some time with him. He came over to my video session. We played Point Park, and it was cool. But I never thought I was gonna get a chance to come back and play at Duquesne. So when I had the opportunity, didn't matter if I was gonna, you know, get my butt kicked or whatever, but a chance to be back in his gym and come back, and my assistant coach was like joking with me, saying, "Man, they show a lot of love here for you." I put everything I had in here for Coach. You know, I love what he's doing with the guys, and I wanted to see it up close myself. I'm glad I held him under 100 today, though. But I wanted to see it together myself because I really like what I see with him on film. And, you know, in person, it didn't do it just as much justice as it did on film.
So, you know, like, when we lost Carl and Charles, those were big losses for us. Like, people don't realize, like, I've known those guys since they were 17 years old. I won't tell you how old he is now. But, like, I saw him develop as players, you know, play into the NBA. And, you know, just the one thing about the Twins is, as far as the loyalty factor, you're not going to get any better. And then, you know, what they can do on the court as well. So, you know, Carl's a shooting specialist, so, like, you know, there aren't many people that can do what he can do, talking about shooting. And so, for us, like, I hate playing my friends, and I don't even consider Carl a friend. He's really family to me. So, like, I hate playing family, but we couldn't get any games. And, you know, especially at the time of the year, so he was nice enough to play the game, which I probably wouldn't have if I was him, you know, but it was good for us, you know, at this time of the year, because this is a hard time of the year to really play great basketball, you know, so we needed the game going into the conference.
Well, nobody wants to put you on the spot, I think, but, you know, I mean, when you're in a game like this, in surroundings like this, including Coach, just talk about what went through your mind and how hard it might have been to focus on coaching your team. I mean, you know, you're standing there, you're looking at the surroundings. You said people showed you a lot of love.
Well, I've been in a lot of big venues as a player. And obviously being at Duquesne, you know, Atlantic 10, you're playing in a bunch of crazy facilities, you know, every road game. So I didn't really think about my surroundings. I just enjoyed the court. Looked down there, saw Coach. I knew he was going to stand up. I didn't want to sit down because I try to match his intensity, but no one can really. But I just enjoyed the moment. I mean, when you're blessed to be around a game as long as I have been, and you still get to do something you love, you just enjoy it, right? My expectations year 1. Now, if this is year 4, I'd be really probably mad. My guys didn't compete, do anything, no matter who we're playing. I'm that much of a competitor. But year 1, to get our name on the map, so people know ESPN Plus game, played ESPN Plus again with IUPUI, went down to overtime, had a shot to win at the buzzer. So everything's a new experience for my guys. And that's how I'm going in it. Not being too high and too low, just trying to enjoy the process and knowing that I have a lot of work to do. I mean, I got that from Coach D as well, too. We did a lot of good things that I can take for our league. So it was an important game for me as well. And I didn't want to run from that challenge because that's not me, who I am as a person or as a player. I wasn't that as a player either.
It's a first-year program, too, you know, so I got to tell you this because it's probably not one of the things I'm most proud of, but, like, we played numerous times. He was an assistant coach at Eastern Michigan when we played. And most of the time we won. I think we won maybe 4 or 5 times, right? And every time after the game, I'd, you know, give them a big hug, and then they beat us one time. I didn't give them a hug. I was so pissed off. So that just tells you, no matter how much you love somebody, your competitive nature comes through. And he reminds me of it constantly.
I did out there now. I said, you better hug me.
Yeah. He said, you didn't give me a hug. And again, like I go back, like, this guy is straight family, not friend. You understand? So there's a huge difference. Like, I have a lot of like friends, but not a lot of family members. So I mean, we spent a lot of time together, and you know, just a lot of respect for him. Like, unbelievable player, like unbelievable knowledge of the game, and ability to, you know, play in that league from Eastern Michigan. You got to be pretty good now.
I still a lot too, Coach. He'll see in the film when he watches film and stuff too. But my influence on my team, I really didn't want to be a zone team. I wanted to be a hard trapper team, want to pressure the full court like Coach is doing us today. Trying to get a lot of guys on it. I found that we played Coach's zone, and he hates to play, call it 20 when we were here. You know, I just say 23, but I got that influence from him and Coach Wygame, right? And then I at the end of the game, if he looks at it, I ran Nick's. I ran Nick's handoff. I ran Marcus Weathers' play. I won't say what it is in case he has to run in the league. But everything Coach did in here, I try to take a little bit piece of it with me to Cleary. And I think with a couple of guys I have, I can do some things like that. Now, defensively, we have to be a lot better and be more physical. And that's just me getting on our guys and practice a little bit harder. But I couldn't have a better person to learn from my time here and as a player at Eastern and as a coach here under Coach Dambrot to try to run my own program on any level. If it's Division I, Division II, Division III, any level I was going to take what he did because I believe in what he's done and he's won. And it's in the proof is in the pudding with him.
What do you think of the guys that you recruited?
Most of the guys are who I thought they were. You know, again, when you come in a new situation with 14 new guys, right?
I mean the guys you recruited here.
Oh,
like
here?
you talked about the guys like seeing the
recruit Tim.
Oh, I didn't really recruit anybody here.
Right, Rick.
I didn't recruit anybody here. I helped. What I did here, my role, what was big is when they got to campus, you know, I became big brother.
Yeah.
Right. I really took a lot of guys under my wing and just try to make sure they could navigate college life in Pittsburgh. Right. And Coach Dambrot as well. Ups and downs and highs and lows with that. So I think that my role here, I loved it. That's why you see me, I hugged everybody in the line more than 2 seconds. So that's real stuff. I told all those guys I loved them. Coach D last year was kind enough, and Mr. Harper was kind enough to let me go to Brooklyn with those guys. I didn't have it to my own team. So the Dukes were my team. So I came up here 5 times last year and watched 8 games.
And let me say this too, like, so when Charles left, we tried to hire Carl back. And he's got a grandson that's, am I right to?
Yeah, that's right.
His grandson's autistic, you know, and lives in Michigan, so, you know, he just couldn't do it. You know, he's made a lot of sacrifices before, so I just want to be clear, like, that's how strong the bond is. Like, he's the first guy that I thought of.
Oh, it was tough. It was tough when Coach even called me. You know, Gina just got me back. You know,
his wife never moved.
And she didn't move, and Kobe needed me, and I needed to be around him. So, but I love the guys here. I like what Coach has them. I mean, he's not going to be satisfied with them as well, but I think he has a lot of good pieces in play to do really well in A-10.
If we get through those first 5 games, which are brutal. Anything else? Happy New Year. Behave yourselves.
Thank you.